Dude, the fact that you made me do this is just ridiculous.
I'll do it again. Guess what? You're gonna get a bottle of Everclear on your cutting board next time.
Yeah, actually, I could use that for cleaning. Actually, people would come to the store and buy it to clean their houses.
I think they also came into the store to buy it to clean their colons out.
Maybe.
Because they hate their lives.
Maybe, but
I did once do as a gag. There's a more violent offering of Everclear that was affectionately referred to as Mexican alcohol. That was some stupid like.
Well, Everclear's like 190 proof.
Yeah, that was like Mexican alcohol was like 95% alcohol.
Oh, good God!
I drank it neat as a gag. It was a very painful experience.
Good God!
Anyway, this is from Ironroot, isn't it? And
Yes.
There's vodka.
It is the only vodka
In your collection.
that I own. I own zero vodka. Now, CO, you would ask,
Why do you hate vodka?
why don't you own any vodka? Because vodka's freaking trash. I don't like it. I don't like it. Now,
Why don't you like it?
well, the whole purpose of vodka, right, is vodka's supposed to taste like nothing. It's
Yes.
supposed to be flavorless and it's supposed to be odorless.
That is, if you look into the laws of like Polish vodka
Mm-hmm.
or Russian vodka, it is supposed to be odorless and flavorless.
Correct. Now, what's interesting, I guess, if you're interested, what's interesting about vodka is to be vodka, it has to come off the still at 190 proof or higher.
Which is really hot, and that ends up wiping out most
It
flavors.
kills.
that you would-
That's why in the whiskey world you distill at lower proof. It has to be lower than 160 because you actually want the flavor from the grain that you're cooking, right?
Yeah.
So with vodka, when you're cooking it at 190 proof plus, you're cycling it.
Well, it's a little bit like when you cook with alcohol. When you cook with alcohol, you get it so hot that all the alcoholic content
yeah, it burns off.
burns off.
But that's why you'll see in a lot of stores that sell vodka where it'll be distilled, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times.
Distilled or filtered?
No, distilled.
Distilled?
Yeah, you'll see on the bottles like distilled 10 times. And what they're doing is they're trying to strip all the flavor out of there.
Because it has to be flavorless. and
Because
odorless.
it's supposed to be. Now, to be fair, if you've ever had shitty vodka, it tastes like rubbing alcohol.
It does. That
Right?
means they failed at their job.
They did, but if you're just looking to get ripped, then you're just looking to
Do
get
some
ripped.
rubbing alcohol shots just for fun.
You can, yeah.
And go blind if you're
You
lucky.
can, for sure. It's a little tongue in cheek. I don't hate vodka. I just don't have a use for it.
Because it's not really useful to drink neat.
Well, yeah, because then once again, the whole point of this is supposed to be odorless and flavorless. Now, I have had some decent vodkas that actually, when you drink it, it's hard to explain because you drink a glass of water. That's
It
odorless.
tastes like
It
water.
tastes like water. This obviously doesn't taste like water. But, and I'm not a big mixed drink guy. But back in the day, to be fair, full disclosure, I drank a few vodka and cranberries before.
Well, if you just want to have a little extra jazz added to your cranberry juice.
Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah.
one of the typical uses for vodka is to mix it into like a martini.
Mm-hmm.
But I forego that because it would add nothing.
Yeah, it just, once again,
I'll just use more gin.
here, this is me as a 52-year-old, right? Me at 22, have a couple vodka cranberries, get a little tipsy,
Sure.
awesome. At 52, I'm not looking for that.
No.
I want complexity, I want flavor, just like, I want better food at 52 than I did. I don't want top ramen.
You want steak.
I want steak. I want something good, right? So this is interesting. So this, unfortunately, unless you live in North Texas or somewhere,
Or you want to go on a
or
footloose
go on
journey
an epic
to,
journey,
to where do they located?
Sherman?
Sherman, Texas.
No, is it Sherman?
It's Sherman. Denison.
No, Denison. That's the town north of that. So this was distillery only.
903 Brewery is in
903
Sherman.
is in Sherman, right? So they're in Denison.
Yeah, Ironroot's a cool place if you haven't gone to visit it. It is a cool spot, and
Yeah.
and the Licorice Brothers who own the outfit.
They're awesome. Yeah.
And they are usually there, so they conduct the tours. They'll talk to you.
Yep.
They let us talk their ear off the last time we were there. It was,
Oh, yeah.
It was a grand old time.
Yeah, I've got 4 pages, like legal pages of notes
Oh yeah,
that I wrote down.
Ironroot, out of all the distilleries we went to in Dallas that day, Ironroot was the most in-depth tour.
Yeah, it was. So if you live in Texas or you're in North Texas, I think the tours are only Friday, Saturdays.
Yeah.
I believe. I was lucky enough. You were lucky enough to attend one of my work events.
Yes.
Where they opened the distillery up on a Sunday, and tons of education, tons of tasting. But yeah, so this is not going to be like normal vodka.
No, it's a new make.
Yeah. So basically, it says that it's vodka.
It's not vodka.
But it's only 80 proof. But this.
It's basically like when we did the Buffalo Trace episode the other
Yeah.
day. It's their new make. It's their
Yeah.
White Dog, I think. It's called.
Yeah, that's what it's called. And I don't know if they did that for legal purposes or whatever. So to be vodka, obviously they took it over 190 proof. But when you smell this stuff, it smells like new make, man. It's corn.
Specifically, it smells like new
Smells
make
like-
that is going to be shoved into barrels in
like
Texas.
like cream corn. Yeah.
But very different from the Buffalo Trace new make.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very much more corn forward. Like the cream corn is the best
Yeah.
note that you
Well, 'cause
you can identify in that
this-
because they use a lot of
This
corn.
isn't a whiskey review, but yeah. So they distill all their grains differently.
Yeah.
And then they barrel them separately. So their corn, their rye, their malted barley. It's all done different. But this is just so good. Yeah, it's light new make.
Yeah.
Corn, but it's on the lighter side, so you can tell that when you take that distillation higher, it strips out a lot of that middle palate.
Especially because they use such weird corn over at Ironroot.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of weird things. Not weird, but they're doing different things with different corns. Yeah, interesting.
Weird in a good way.
Yeah, they're playing with blue, red, black corn. But yeah, so like I said, for me, vodka is not really my thing, but there are some good ones. I mean, Smoke Wagon make a vodka,
Which is also just new make.
Right. I haven't had it. That's a good question.
I think it's called Silver Springs vodka.
Silver Dollar.
Silver Dollar.
Yeah.
Silver Springs is right.
Yeah. But yeah.
Silver Dollar.
Yes,
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I do want to, just for the sake of expanding my palate, I do eventually want to try Polish vodka, and eventually when the thing stops happening.
Yeah. Try some Russian vodka.
Russian vodka.
Yeah. So the thing that I encountered, vodka can come from anything.
Oh
So
yeah.
we know that, but a lot of people don't understand that it can come from. You can distill corn, you can distill wheat, you can distill rye, you can distill potatoes, anything that has sugar content, right? Because that's what interacts with the yeast that makes the alcohol. So I even had a lady come in and she really liked vodka, but she was what's it, celiac?
Yeah, celiac disease.
The wheat thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of American vodkas that she tried,
Would have an allergic reaction.
yeah, she'd have an allergic reaction. And because I understand a little bit about distillation, I'm like, well, what about potatoes? I'm like, can you eat potatoes? She's like, yeah, that doesn't bother me. And I'm like, well, maybe try
Polish.
a Polish vodka where they're using potatoes, or
Before the embargo was placed, Russian vodka also primarily uses potatoes.
Yeah, and there's even a couple, well, at least not a couple, but there was one that uses quinoa.
Really?
Yeah, and that grain that we eat sometimes.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's distilled from quinoa. There's a Hawaiian company that makes their vodka with pineapple. Any fruit or any grain that has.
I kind of want to be interested in that, but I know it's not going to taste all that.
It's not going to taste like pineapple.
It's not going to really express that, but it will be either.
Yeah.
Like the only reason that change was noticeable is because this woman had an allergic reaction to it. I imagine the flavor isn't all that different.
No, because once again, it goes
It's
back.
supposed to be flavorless and
It goes back to the terms of vodka. It's supposed to be odorless and flavorless. The better ones that I've had definitely come off odorless and flavorless, but it's just smoother. And like I said, the less expensive ones,
It doesn't hurt.
tend to come off as,
It doesn't hurt you like Tito's handmade vodka.
it tends to come off like rubbing alcohol. You know, and look, vodka's popular for a lot of reasons, right? It gets people where they want to get to. It doesn't cost very much, unlike a good bourbon or a scotch.
If you need to cook with alcohol, it could work for that purpose.
Yeah, but mostly when you cook, right, you're using
like
bourbon or
wine.
wine or something like that. Yeah. But anyway,
I don't feel real strong about vodka one way or the other. I don't care for it.
yeah, this I love
This is nice
just
because I like their distillate.
just because of what they're doing. But yeah, just regular vodka. I mean, and that's the thing. You can find some good ones. I know. I forget the name because I've been out of that store for so long. But if you find somebody that works at a store that can point you in the right direction, it doesn't have to be super expensive vodka.
Now, vodka is very affordable.
Yeah. That's why most kids in college drink it, right? Because it's not super expensive.
One time, a good friend of mine, the Ukrainian, his buddy who had been treating him poorly the whole night because he was drunk out of his mind,
Mm-hmm.
he asked him for a glass of water, and he slid him a full glass of vodka again.
Ooh.
He pounded it back and then projectile vomited over a girl and onto his own carpet.
Yeah, that's not good. But I mean, like I said, vodka has its place. You know, it's not typically to sit and eat. It's a mixer
I
to
personally
get you tipsy.
think that gin is a more appropriate
Yeah,
mixer.
I would go the gin route personally, just because I'm interested more in flavor than I am just in getting tipsy.
Or
But-
blackout.
Yeah.
Drunk.